Your boys. Your three blind mice, baby bizoys.
These are three blind mice. That's funny.
The Migos. Not to be confused with Amigos or the Three Amigos. A movie that came out in the 80s that starred Martin Short, Chevy Chase, and Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Alright, it's actually a good movie. I should go check it out.
Not to be confused with that, though.
Right.
We're talking about Culture 2.
Culture 2 came out last week. It's now the number one album in the country, I believe.
Yes, it is.
It's got 24 tracks.
Did it need 24 tracks?
Before we get into that, let's get into your initial reactions. Listen to this. Don't give away too much because we got to get into the other parts of this review. So just give me your initial, your first thoughts.
Okay. My first thoughts.
Yeah.
My first thoughts was before I even listened to it. When I was about to listen to it, I thought, "Am I gonna like this?" Because as a whole, I'm not a big fan of Migos.
Not a big fan of Migos.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Migos. So I was thinking outside, I was like, "This is gonna be one of those albums that I hear and I'm like, I just want to skip through it or can't wait to be done with it." You know,
Right.
I was thinking that initially, and then I heard the first track. Play that. I go a lot by that. It wasn't that bad. I liked it, but I immediately knew that the album was going to be full of voice changing,
Right. Well, yeah,
voice altering. But that's
they're gonna do that.
that's
That's the thing right now. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, they give us times where they don't do it at all, and I think they just need to do that more because it sounds good without all that voice changing. I mean, they have tracks on this album that I was pleased with because they didn't do that. Some I was like, why did you do it on the chorus?
Right.
If you would have just didn't do it on the chorus, this would have been a great song.
Right.
It was just a good song, But
Well, I think that my initial reaction to it was, I was coming in this expecting it to be big. And expecting it to be...
Yeah, I hear that too, yeah.
You know
especially
what I'm saying?
Coming off of the last one.
Right. Like, the word I want to use is ambitious. That's what I was expecting it to be. Right? Like, I was expecting it to be like, oh, okay, like, you got all the light shined on you. You gonna give us this, like, fucking fire. You gonna come hard. You gonna be like, hey, like, we them boys. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I was looking for. And I didn't really get that. You know what I'm saying?
You don't get that in here.
No, you really don't, man. It was kind of a letdown.
It was disappointing that you didn't get that, and it was disappointing to me that it was just too much of the It sounded the same. A lot of it sounded the same, other than the beat being different.
Right.
A lot of it, which I think you get that a lot with them, anyways. Because it's just the way they spit. It's their style.
It's their style.
The way they spit, like, they'll do that same style on pretty much all the beats.
Right.
So when you hear it, it's kind of like, that verse could have been on this track. It could have been.
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
It's just.
I don't know. I kind of feel like the first Culture album sounded way better.
Yeah.
I do. There was a lot more songs that on
more
there.
Impactful.
Yeah, there were just better songs on there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that I don't know, man. Like, with all the money, all the fame, and all the whatever you have at your disposal, you know what I'm saying? Any producer that you pretty much want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just expect y'all to create something. Create something way better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially when you got 24 tracks on there.
Especially when you got 24 fucking tracks.
You got 24
goddamn
tries to really get that.
24 tries.
to get that.
I was expecting at
correct.
least, like, out of the 24, I was like, all right, I know there's going to be something I'm not going to like on here. So can I at least get a 50%, like, exchange rate on this? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I don't like this one, but this one I love.
Yeah, maybe it's like, you give us 24, can we at least get a full album of good tracks, like worth,
right. I didn't get that many. It kind of sucks because with 24 tracks, there was probably 5 or 6. And I know that Migos is like one of the groups that you kind of got to hear more than once. before it starts to kind of like click and you're like, oh, okay, this whole bangs. I know that about them.
But a lot of that is the beat.
Like, a lot of it is the beat, but it's the way you ride the beat too, though. Okay, like for example, T-shirt. Okay, Mama told me not to sell work. 17.5, same color T-shirt.
Yeah,
that song to me was better than Bad and Bougie, right? Which was a very catchy a hit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I like T-shirt way better. You see what I'm saying? I just like the way that it went. I like the beat.
They put it together.
Yeah, I don't really feel like they were doing the same things on those songs.
They weren't riding the beats the way they were riding the beats on the other one.
Yeah, they just didn't ride the beats on here. They wasn't, and some of the beats didn't really knock. Like a lot of it was kind of laid back.
Yeah,
to an extent.
A lot of laid back.
And they're trying to be a little bit more melodic, and I'm like, nah. I know Quavo out here popping. He's been doing these hooks and singing shit. I don't hear that shit right now, dog. You know what I'm saying? I've been hearing enough of that shit.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
For real. It was too saturated with that shit.
Right.
Like too much of that. They all had their hits though. Like, and I'm not saying like because they all had hits and misses, but more misses than hits, obviously. Right. But there's a few, like each of them had a few verses or like a few bars within their verses where they said something like, okay,
right.
I mean, Take Off, Offset, Quavo, they all did it.
What do you think about Take Off? Because a lot of people were talking about Take Off.
I think Take Off did better than I expected, like completely. Like I think he actually, if you listen to what he's spitting, there's some things that he's spitting there, and you're just like, okay, but it's within a verse that isn't all that great.
So for Migos fans that's out of this, if you're watching this, I don't feel like Takeoff did anything different that he's never done.
No,
I just believe that they gave him more of a spotlight.
No,
than they did before. I think they gave him more
spotlight, just more time.
Well, he got left off Bad and Bougie.
So they gave him more. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Then, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they just put him out there.
They weren't leaving him off no Bad and Bougie this time.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I think that
they went through that. They didn't want to go through that again.
He was a little upset. He kind of came with like, I'll let these niggas know I actually rap. But I don't feel like he did anything that
hasn't done before.
He hasn't done before.
They just gave him a lot more time to do it.
Shine.
Yeah, I got it.
If you've listened to Migos and you've heard him before,
that's true. I mean, because he did that same shit in the other ones where he overall it wasn't all that, but there'd be like 2 bars in there or something that were like, that wasn't that bad. A few bars, it wasn't that bad. But all in all, overall, it's still not that great.
It wasn't that great.
I'm talking about all 3 of them.
Yeah, there was a couple tracks. Narcos. I like Narcos.
Yeah, Narcos I like. Although the chorus still was like
it's gonna grow on. I think it's gonna grow on people.
I think it will too, but it's just
I like Flooded too.
They probably could have had someone else do the chorus, not necessarily them do it. I think it would have been a better track if they would have just had someone else do it, differently, somewhat, but.
What about what else was good? Was actually a good song, Maden Men.
Maden Men was a good song.
I actually like the beat that they chose. I liked how they were rapping. It sounded like a nice southern sampled rap song, which I wasn't expecting to hear from them.
Flooded. I like Flooded.
I said that.
Yeah, I didn't hear you. Probably talking about the other one still.
Right. Yeah. Flooded was a hot track too. There is a track on here that sounds exactly like Dead's. Count Up the Dead's. It sounds exactly the same. It's like the same. It's actually a Cardo beat too. You know what I'm saying? It's like just like a rehash of the beat, and I was expecting to hear bustin' the head, Count Up the Dead, which I actually like that song. Yeah, right? I actually think that's a fine song.
But you were expecting that on here because you hear it.
Well, no, I hear the beat and I'm like,
similar.
Did these niggas just make the same exact fucking? I would have respected you if you would have said this is Count Up the Dead Part 2, and you just featured I don't know, fucking. Like a bunch of trap rappers on there. You know what I'm saying? I would have been like, oh, okay, this whole bangs. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't do it that way. They just tried to turn it into a whole nother song. I think it's called Open Them Up. Open It Up.
Okay.
And I was like, man, no, that's Count Up the Dead. That's Count Up the Dead Part 2.
And you're like, you just fucked this up.
Yeah. What the hell?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's not for the culture.
It's not. But all in all, man, I didn't think it was as great that it should have been. Yeah, it could have been a way bigger and better album.
Not could have. It should have.
It should have been.
It should have been a way better.
What do you think about Stir Fry?
I think there's gonna be a lot of people that it just gets catchy too.
It's definitely catchy.
It's catchy, but
it's Migos and Pharrell.
No, it don't sound right.
It doesn't.
It really.
Listen, the Migos and Lil Uzi Vert sounded better than Migos and excuse me. The Lil Uzi Vert and Pharrell sounded better than Migos and Pharrell.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It doesn't quite sound right. It really don't.
Right.
Not Pharrell beat.
Yeah.
They may have had a
good try though.
They may have had a better shot doing that track with Timberland.
Yeah.
Doing a crazy beat, one of his crazy beats. But even then, it's still. I think that's just too. It's not them.
Yeah, it's
like
just not.
Even Timberland. It's like both of them. I think.
It just wouldn't fit. What you give this on a scale of 1 to 10?
Scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
I gave this a 6.
Oh, you give it 6. You hurting.
I'm hurting the culture.
No, you're hurting the Migos mama.
I am, bro.
Yeah,
I am.
Mama. You hurting their mama, dog.
Hey, they hurt me by not doing what they should have done.
Yeah,
they hurt. I'm sure they hurt more than me. A lot of fans that thinking like, "Come on,
you know they're saying right now.
Platform you had, what you should have done on this album. Like it's almost like they half-assed it because they knew people were gonna. It's like it don't matter if we do it or don't do it because they're gonna think we're gonna do it, so they're gonna buy it. They're gonna fuck with it anyway. And they kind of it seems half-assed from the potential it should have been.
You know what they're saying right now? Ice, trade, freezer. Ice. If a nigga hate him, call him reefer.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Pussy! That's what they say right now.
I don't care.
Cause he's my dog.
You know what? I think.
No,
note, they all could have been left off of this.
Oh shit!
If they're gonna say something like that, that's how I'll come back at them. Like fuck leaving one of y'all off of this. We should have left them all.
Right. I gotta give this one a 4.
See, when I heard him with the 6, I think you heard him with a 4.
I hit him with the 4. I gave this one a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Yeah. It just wasn't as good as it was supposed to be. I had high hopes for Migos. Especially after what they did with Coach and how they just like blew the game down. I was like, oh yeah, they just gotta. They already set they there. They just gotta. You know what I'm saying? How do you make Bad and Bougie? Okay. And then make this album. Because Bad and Bougie was hot. It was fire.
I believe this is more of a production album. If you're looking for good production, you're gonna get that out here. You'll get some dope ass.
I don't even think it was that dope though. I mean, they were dope. They were dope beats. But there were some beats that I felt were kind of lackluster. I feel like some of them were very basic.
Some were actually almost like I was saying, where it's like, just how I was just saying about them. It's like missing shit. Like it's like it wasn't to the full potential. Like some of the beats were like that too.
Right.
Some of the beats, but they had some banging beats in there.
They doing some banging beats, definitely.
Some banging beats, right. Literally, because I was in the car jamming them and they banged.
Maybe if they do Culture 3 and they just only do like 10 or 11 songs, they could probably make some fire shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're probably just in this point where they're just moving. They're